Welcome to the Mediocre to Magnificent podcast. I'm your co-host, Braxton Matson, and your host, Lee A. Williams, and I just want to say thank you for tuning in because you are what makes this pure magnificence. You are the ripple effect of magnificence, and we are going to bring you a message that will give you insight, inspire you, motivate you, and challenge you to not only grow in your magnificence, but let you know that you are magnificent in everything you do. So stay tuned, you don't want to miss it. Lee, man,
Yes, sir.
we're back.
We are back. We're here.
I like the shirt.
Oh, thank you, man.
Meetups. Connect.
Gotta connect, man. Your network is your net worth, man.
I like that saying. That's a good saying.
It's a real saying.
It's a real thing.
I mean, the other way people say it is you hang around four broke people, you're the fifth.
And we're not talking about money.
We're not. You're the sum total of the people you hang around the most. I mean, there's so many different
Yeah, there's so many different ways you can put it.
but yeah.
But yeah, man.
That's what meetups is, man.
So what you got for us today?
Man, when I say magnificent doesn't care how you feel, what do you think? Where do you think I'm going with that, man?
Feelings lie.
Oh, that's good. Feelings.
That's how I feel. I like a lot, man.
To you.
Feelings will get you all riled up for nothing.
Feelings lead to actions, lead to results, or the lack thereof.
Mm-hmm.
So, moment of vulnerability.
I like how you put. I like how you transitioned to that.
Nah, but because sometimes you want to be like,
well, I think you're authentic, man.
You're Mr. Magnificent. How do you? It's like that's not real.
No,
It is real that I strive for magnificence.
Yes,
that is real. But the moment of vulnerability is, man, one day I just wasn't feeling getting my movement.
There we go. Keyword, feeling.
Right. I just wasn't feeling it, man.
Uh-huh.
But so thankful that I'm at the place that I am in my walk and my journey.
Oh, man.
And I'm telling myself, magnificence doesn't care how you feel.
Right.
Like you walk around, like how confident in your being can you walk around in a shirt that says, I refuse to be mediocre. And then you're gonna allow yourself. You set your gym clothes out the night before, and you put out the shirt that said, "I refuse to be mediocre," and you're gonna allow your feelings,
oh man, yeah,
to trick you out of your victory. Magnificent doesn't care how you feel.
It doesn't.
But that doesn't take away that I just wasn't really feeling it, man. And what was so interesting. It wasn't necessarily anything to do, because when I say this next part, you're going to be like, what? The day I wasn't feeling it, it happened to be a pool day.
No.
But it had nothing to do with, it could have been whatever. Yeah. It could have been like, okay, today's a running day, today's a gym day.
It didn't matter what it was.
Kayak day.
You weren't feeling it.
I wasn't feeling it.
Okay.
So it could have been a bike day.
Anything. You just weren't feeling it.
Could have been like, okay, let's go for a hike. I wasn't in it.
Mm-hmm.
Or so I thought.
Ooh.
Right.
Cliffhanger.
Why are you playing with a story like this, Lee? So it happens to be a pool day, man.
Yeah. If y'all don't know Lee, Lee is the water guy.
Right.
He is.
So when he says it was a pool day and he ain't, even though that really didn't matter.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
So think about that's. So that's why I'm really trying to set that up like that, so
Yeah.
people really could see like, okay, this is because Jamie and Coleman went with me to the pool and we swam some laps and that Coleman jokingly was like, man. He swims. We just play in the pool. But so it's being silly. But I sucked it up, man. Sucked it up. Knowing Magnificent doesn't care.
Yeah.
How you feel.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my wife, you know, she always checks in like on not anything just other than support. It could be built in accountability though. So that's a good
True.
side of it too.
Yeah.
To be like, okay, how many laps you did today at the pool?
Oh, she asked you that question.
Yeah,
Or,
like,
yeah.
how? Because she knows
That's
it's a running,
good,
it's a
though,
running
man.
thing.
That's
Because it's
good.
like I always share,
Yeah.
like, okay, well,
Right.
I did such and such links. I did this many links.
Mm-hmm.
You know how many links is a mile? Like that whole deal. I did this many meters, whatever.
Right.
So we've had a conversation before, and I'm like, she's like, okay, because 64 links is a mile of 25 meters.
Right.
So 32 laps that's a mile.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, well, you did 64 links. Sometimes people want to say like, well, why didn't you just say 32 laps? 64 links.
Yeah. Sounds a little better.
The number's higher.
Yeah. The number's higher.
But I'm sharing a hack. That's a hack for your mentality.
It really
for your
is.
mindset.
Yeah. It really is. Like when you think, even if you're like, even when you don't feel like you want to do it,
Right.
even if you just do a little bit,
Right.
you said you could do something. You did something.
So people knowing how I swim and like, oh man, you're a orca, man. You swim like a fish, you know,
Right.
like
Yeah.
that whole deal. I'm like, yeah, man, I don't know. So we were joking. She's like, okay, how many you did? Like, so there's several different days with this because I swim at least minimum once a week for distance, like cardio type. But for me in the water, it's like I told her, I said, hey, yeah, I did 80, I did 70, I did 96, you know, whatever. I did 100 and she's like, well, when are you, that's all you did? One day, like I said some great number, you know, it was like some magnificent number. It's like, oh, that's all you did. And she wasn't saying it in an instance of like,
she knows your potential though. She
Right.
knows what you can do.
she's like, oh, that's all you did.
Yeah.
And I told her this version. I said, well, I don't really have something to work towards if I go in there the first day and crush it.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you just go in my mind, say for you like where you're running experience or whatever. If you push up experience, whatever experience you want to do, ride your bike. If it's like, okay, well, first time out I swim 2 miles. That's the baseline now.
That's the baseline.
Like you swam 2 miles, buddy. Like
that should be a standard.
That's so funny. So it's like, so we used to say the the day I did 104 or something.
Right.
104 links. Well, how many? 104. Oh, okay, wow. And just to antagonize the situation, she go laugh when she hears this. That's all you did? It's like, well, okay. Have you ever did 100 links? And that's 2,500 meters in the pool.
Yeah.
But the thought process is like, that's all you got? So you have to be able to say, okay, do you tell yourself, what do I have to work towards? But let's get back to Magnificent doesn't care how you feel.
Right.
So that was just a little side story about it. Like, well, how many you did? So if you're out there, if you do on your bike, it's like, well, I rode 20 miles on my bike. You just created a baseline.
Yeah.
Like whether you believe it or not.
People are going to be like, oh, did you get your 25 in?
You like, what was the next milestone?
Like, you did only 10? But you did 25 yesterday. I was like,
right. So you have to, within your own mind, you have to be careful with
that. But doesn't that play with your feelings a little bit too? In a way. It can.
It can.
Yeah.
So, because you're like, that's where I said it could be built in accountability. So it's like, I've already confidently said, Well, I did 80.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I did. And it started off like, okay, the mile was the mark for me. Like, you got to get a mile in. Like, you can't get out of the pool till you get a mile in.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying it started that way. I'm not saying it started that way. And if you talk to Jamie or Coleman, their process doesn't start that way. But the consistency and the repetition, you'll be able to gain the laps, the lengths, the miles, the growth.
Right.
And whatever. We're just talking about swimming because that was that day.
Yeah.
But I wasn't feeling it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't care. So you could say it's fiery darts from the enemy, or you could just say it's your own mind wanting to self-sabotage you to stay comfortable.
I like how you put it. I like how you put comfortable in there.
Accept mediocrity.
Yeah.
So I've already said, sucked it up. Like, we're going.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love the pool. I love swimming. This, out of all the days, no matter the distance that I have swam, this is always I've considered it an active rest day for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the way, like, how long I've been swimming,
for you.
Yeah. So it's not very stressful, not very strenuous. It's just an active rest day. So I'm like, I gotta suck it up on my pool day.
Right.
But that's not where the mind stopped. There's more, man. I mean, it just was.
Man.
It just was, man. So I get in the pool, and when you're starting to swim like more than a mile, man, so you're like, okay, so you're like, name one of the tricks. So I wear the training fins.
Okay. Yeah.
I wear the training fins to add resistance.
Yeah.
So my toe, man, one of my toes was rubbing.
Man, come on now.
No, I'm just telling you.
No, but I'm
just telling you.
It's messing
like,
with
I'm just
you,
trying to tell you. Like,
it's messing with you.
Yeah. Now, I'm not going to say it's never rubbed, but why was it so, like, to the point where, like...
To where it's, like, in your head, like...
Yeah, like, oh, well.
Yeah,
just your toes rubbing, man. You got to stop.
Right.
Your toes rubbing, you got to stop?
Oh.
And I couldn't, like, I wish I could have said where, like, even if I said it started rubbing after a mile, but that wasn't the point. Especially if you say, okay, your wife said, so you're like, oh, you gotta, I done did 104, 105, you're like, that's all you got.
Right.
So you got a toe rub, like maybe blister type rub, at maybe in the 50 length mark, and 64 is a mile. So you're like, well, so the only reason I'm setting that story up like that is because there's no way I'm stopping before a mile. Mm-hmm. And in my mentality, this is something I got to suck up. But Magnificence doesn't care how you feel.
Right.
Toe rub, you got to work through it. Mm-hmm. So work through that, swam some more laps. Definitely by the 60 length, that was a non-issue. Mm-hmm. What do you think happened next?
Something else with equipment, probably.
No, my shoulder was aching.
No, man.
Yeah. Shoulder's aching, man.
But you got to get the mile in, man.
No, we're past the mile now.
Oh, you're past the mile. Oh, yeah. This is even better. Okay.
Yeah, we're past.
Ooh.
I got a little ache in my shoulder, man.
Uh-huh.
I don't know why. So I'm like, okay, man. And it's all about what are you gonna do, man? Mm-hmm. Like, you mean to tell me you swam over a mile, you got a little ache in your shoulder, but you haven't even made the milestone. Yeah. There's a new milestone. You haven't even made it. Even if you want to say, well, 96, you got to do a mile and a half. Like, you're at like 80-something laps, man. Right. I mean, 80-something links, excuse me. Make sure I tell the story properly. Mm-hmm. Now, if anybody knows the time frame it takes to swim more than a mile, and then, like, if you're by yourself, the counting.
Oh, it gets crazy.
And the mind.
You keeping count and all that. Now you get all out of whack.
Meditative and be like, And if I do it in tens to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and been like, okay, well, I made 10. So then I'm like, okay, well, I promise you, I started miscounting links, man.
Wow.
Why you say wow? Because no, I'm talking to the point where to be like, okay, when you like, so we're saying 70, 80, 90. Now you're like, is this 3?
Yeah.
Or is this 5? Like, are you going down on 3 and coming back on 4? Or are you going down on 5 and coming back on 6? But guess what I did?
What?
Guess.
You did more?
That's great the way you said that.
You did
so
more.
I miscounted the links. Whatever number I thought it was, I said it was less. If
Oh,
I thought it was
perfect,
3,
man. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, but I'm not sure. I said,
So I need to go down more.
You're
I
only on
need to make sure
you're
I did.
only on 1.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no way I'm gonna go home to my wife, or I'm gonna even tell myself, be in integrity with myself, and say, I did such and such link. It's like, no, you cheated. You couldn't even count.
Yeah.
Magnificence doesn't care how you feel. So I always went to the less.
Yeah.
Tie goes to the less, buddy.
Yeah.
You know how they say tag goes to the runner or whatever?
Yeah.
Oh, is this 3? Nope.
Nope, it's 1.
It's 1. If you don't know, you need to stay focused.
Yeah, that's
Get focused.
Yeah.
Like hesitation is causing pain. You better be focused. Better be present.
Yeah.
Your toes rubbing, your shoulders hurting, but you're here for something. You're sucking it up.
Right.
Magnificence doesn't care how you feel.
Man.
So I'll tell you why that's important, because what I ended up getting to, this is like my pacing, my slowness, the telling the story. I promise, it's worth it. You gotta stay with me. Man, have you ever swam over a mile and a half?
I don't think I ever have.
Have you ever swam over a mile and a half? And it's not to be condescending.
No.
Do you know how dry my mouth was? And you're like, Lee, you're in the pool. I understand, but I'm not trying to drink pool water.
Right.
You know what I'm telling you?
Yeah.
There's a certain way you breathe.
There's a certain way
you breathe. Like, you have to breathe out of your mouth. So
the
throat is dry, like cottonmouth dry. Like, I'm just doing it just to enact it.
Oh, God.
But how many things do you need? How many things do you need to be like, just stop.
Just stop, man.
Just stay comfortable. Like, 105, 106. You swam more than a mile. You swam more than a mile and a half. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
You got to have something to work towards. Look, man. Look. I'm setting it all up for you.
Set it up, man.
So by the time you're in the pool you're in the water for over at least 40 minutes at this point, minimum.
Yeah.
Maybe even an hour.
Maybe even an hour.
I gotta use the bathroom, man. I gotta pee, man.
Man, it's just layers and layers upon layers, man.
Just get out, man. You're done. You gotta use the bathroom.
Yeah.
Guess how many links I did? What's the
120.
Nope. That's good. I'm glad you guessed under.
Oh, 130 something.
I did 130 links.
Dang.
That's 3,250 meters. That's over 2 miles. And I didn't feel like going.
And you did that on a messed up shoulder.
That wasn't. I mean, I don't.
Well, I mean, but it wasn't your peak condition,
right? And they just look. So any swimmer's gonna know this. The day before, they added the salt to the water.
Yeah.
To treat the pool.
Uh-huh.
So I'm telling you. This is the version I'm telling you. Magnificence doesn't care how you feel. And I'm able to look at you or the listeners, the viewers, whoever, my wife, and say I had a personal best, not allowing any of my feelings or any of the tricks of the enemy or any of the tricks of myself, of self-sabotage, to stay comfortable, to start a new baseline of what magnificence looks like for me.
Right.
I had a personal best, and the swimming conditions wasn't
ideal.
When you say, well, what do you mean? Like, if I put salt and it hasn't fully dissolved, the flow the resistance of the water, the density of the water
Yeah.
was different.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, look at what I'm telling you. Personal best, the density of the water is thicker.
Not ideal. Right.
Not ideal, if that's the version you want to say. I can't even, I'm telling you the low ball number of how many links I did. I couldn't tell you how many times I miscounted.
You probably could have.
It's probably a minimum of 4 or
5.
5. Like, I don't know what level I'm on. But I always went to the lower.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. 130 is a new mark. 2 miles, man.
2 miles.
Not ideal circumstance. Not feeling it.
Wow.
But still made it happen. And magnificence couldn't be taken from me.
Right.
And I refused mediocrity that day. So that's why I wanted to share this, man, just to tell somebody, like, magnificence doesn't care how you feel.
It doesn't.
Like, I know people always, especially like with the movements, they always like, oh, getting there is half the battle. But then some of the stuff is like, you've been working out hard. Like, it just took a little longer for your shoulder to wake up. Like, the fan was you could understand why the fib was rubbing, because it was more resistance in the water. You could see why the shoulder was hurt, because it was more resistance in the water.
Yeah.
Like, you get it. Dry mouth. The water has salt in it. I swim in a saltwater pool. It's like, it's more salty.
Yeah, man.
Like the air,
it's different.
This is different.
It's different.
Having to use the bathroom, it's like, you're in the salty water, man.
Yeah.
Kidneys doing what they're supposed to do. Like, your skin's the biggest organ. Like,
Yep.
so when you look at it, it's like, but there's always going to be, the only reason I'm telling you all these, there's always going to be outside circumstance that wants to keep you where you are, keep you comfortable. And it's going to be how you respond and how you show up. Knowing that thoughts lead to feelings, lead to actions, lead to results. My result ends up being I swim over 2 miles.
Yeah.
But the thought process is, especially because I don't want people to think, oh, that's something special with you, Lee. I already told you I could swim. I could probably go swim 5.
Right.
Like, given the time, like, really, and that's why I told my wife that. That's why I shared that story the way I shared it. To say, once you create what's the standard then? Like, how many you did? Oh, I did 5 miles. Or do you just say, like, oh, I'm just going to keep it, I'm just going to stick at 5 miles? Like, we're not, I mean, we don't go nowhere from 5 miles. That's enough. I don't think that's how it works.
I don't think it's how it works either.
That's how people end up running ultra marathons, 100 meters. Yeah. It's like,
it's doing more.
It's like, doing more. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's where that came from, man. It was just literally, if it was possible, it happened.
Yeah.
But I denied it all and was able to have a personal investment.
Wow.
I mean, I read a stat, man. It was like, it's either like competitive swimmer, Olympic swimmers only swim distances like this.
Yeah.
The average person's not going to swim this.
No.
And it's not to say like, but it's just to be able to say, hey, because I told my wife, it's just counting. At what point, if you say it's active rest, how do you prepare your mind to say, just count?
Right.
Just rest. Just one hand after the other. Just one hand after the other.
That's crazy, man.
Just keep moving. Just keep moving. If you keep counting, the number's gonna be there.
Yeah.
If you just keep counting, the number will be there.
Man.
Yes, sir. So yeah, that's that one, man. Magnificence.
That's impressive, man.
Doesn't care how you feel. You better come out to the pool, man. I might be on.
Oh no.
I'm gonna be on 3. I might be on 3 miles. Look,
man,
you might want to get in early, buddy.
Like, I'm gonna have to get my flutter cakes going, get my conditioning going, man.
You might want to get in early. You might think you're swimming with old Michael Phelps or somebody in there. Look, no,
it's insane though, man, because it's like
you
swimming to you literally is like walking. that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. But like just hearing that story, like things happen, but you still.
Yeah, my mom put me in
pursue it,
water
man.
babies. That's probably where I'm so comfortable in the water.
Mm-hmm.
So I've never not been in the water.
Right.
So like where some people might have different mindset towards it, or it's like anything else. If you get in the water, the comfortability of it. So it's like it's like, man, I'm working hard to get up and down the thing. It's like you just floating up and down the thing. Like, what is this?
Mm-hmm.
But it'll happen for you. You just got to put the reps. You got to get the reps in.
Right. Yeah.
It could be the same with martial arts that I'm doing. It's like,
All kinds of
why
stuff.
does his karate? Why does his form look like? He put more work in. You've been doing it longer.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only difference. That's the counting thing I was telling you.
Right. The counting thing.
You just hadn't been to the gym enough. That's all. You gotta keep going. You just hadn't did enough push-ups yet. That's all.
Right.
You hadn't hold your plank long enough or your wall sit long enough. Yeah, it'll happen for you.
It'll work out,
Yeah,
man.
Refuse to be mediocre. Suck it up, because Magnificent doesn't care how you
Feel.
Till next time.
This is your co-host here, Braxton Matson, and Lee and I just want to say thank you so much for tuning into this episode. We hope you've enjoyed it just as much as we did making it, but we couldn't do it without you. So please hit that like button, leave us a rating, leave us a review. Let us know what topic or subject that you would like us to talk about in your journey from mediocre to magnificent. But most of all, share it. Be the ripple effect of magnificence, and know that you are magnificent in everything you do. Till next time.